Hello, just Gem here and welcome, or indeed welcome back to my channel. On Instagram the other day, I asked the question, should I continue with my Undergrowth series, which is where I use Undergrowth from cosmic brushes every month, at least once a month, for the duration of the year. That's the plan. This is Undergrowth. This is what Undergrowth looks like on the inside. I was getting, not that I'm bored of this, I'm just wondering if you guys are, to be honest. I set myself a challenge and I thought it could be quite fun to kind of dip in and out and see how I was getting on with it. But I just kind of wanted to do a check-in really and see if you were still interested in the series. And most of you were. In fact, I'll put the results here of the poll that I did. I think only one person said to give up, just stop. I know you can see that I think that 2 people have said give up, but one person messaged me and said I didn't mean to press that one, keep going. Overwhelmingly that was the response, keep going. So here I am, part 5, episode 5 of the Undergrowth series. And then as a follow-up question I said, okay, well, if you would like me to keep going with it, perhaps I can mix things up a bit by pairing it with a second palette, because I quite enjoyed doing Mishmash Monday last month with Nikki Lynn, and 2 people responded to that poll, and funnily enough, one person said Lightwork VI and another person said Pastel Dream. For today, for the Undergrowth series, I am in fact going to do one look on each eye, and just because I'm holding them up this way, I guess I'll do Lightwork, so Undergrowth and Lightwork 6 on this eye, and Undergrowth and Pastel Dream on this eye. So let's see what we come up with. So I've got no makeup on at all. I've got a completely, I was about to say empty base. That's not really the right way to phrase it, is it? But I've got nothing on my face, I've just got some eyeshadow primer on. I'm trying to experiment at the moment with not putting quite as much makeup on when I'm filming, just so it's not a complete ball ache to wash off at the end of a day. I'm just going to put on enough to maybe hide the bags and the tiredness, but not much more than that. So we'll start with these 2 on this eye. I feel like I should probably use the pastel green that's in the pastel palette, but let's see. I don't know if I lean into the lightness, but I remember I don't know how much I like the very light shades in Undergrowth. Guess maybe I could find out. Maybe I'll start with Herbarium. If I put that at the front there. See, I'm wondering, see, that seems a bit, that just looks grey. Shall I zoom you in a bit? I don't know that looks green at all. How about Lichen? I'll just go straight over the top with Lichen. Okay, that's a bit better. Yeah, so I'm just going to mix Herbarium and Lichen, I think, because that shows up. And that's not bad. I'm not sure, but I don't know if I'm going to do a what do I think now video this month, simply because the sort of palettes I've got on rotation, I almost feel like I want to use them a little bit more before I come back to them. See, this is just a random, although this is a Lamora brush, and I quite like this, but I want something that fluffy but smaller. Maybe, I don't know, a Refa 14 still seems a bit big. I desperately need to wash my brushes, really desperately need to wash them. So let's now go, ooh, just gouged into one of the shades there. Gouged into the purple Pink Mirage. Is it going to focus? Can you see that? I've just gouged in there. Numpty. Aqua Dream. So I'm almost extending the pastelness here. The primer I've got on my lids, by the way, is the NARS Smudge Proof, and I'm doing a bit of stamping more than blending here. Trying to get a nice little blend in between there. It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay. Refer 13, if I can find it. There it is. Now I do want a deeper green. I think Nettle will be too dark, but I don't know if Fern, let's try Fern. I don't know about this. I don't know about Fern. There's not really kind of works. I kind of wish there was something in between Fern and Nettle, because I do think Nettle would be too dark. Having said that, I might use that in the very outer corner. To be fair, I think most of this is going to end up being covered with a shimmer shade. I don't know if that just looks a bit ashy right on the end there. I don't know if I feel like I almost want to blend that out with a brown. Would that be a silly thing to do? Or do I just put a bit more of Aqua Dream on? I think that works. I think that's okay. It's looking a bit out there, but let's see what happens when I deepen things up. So I'm going to go in with a bit of Nettle now, I think. Just in the very outer corner there. I don't know how much darker that's appearing. No, I think you can see that. And also, if you want to comment below if there are any other palettes, maybe you missed my story, but if there's anything that you know I have that you would like to see me use with Undergrowth, do let me know. I am open to all suggestions. Now let's think about the shimmers here. I feel like that's going to look a bit like Fireflies, you know. Should I swatch Fireflies next to that? Oh no, see, Fireflies actually looks... Okay. So that's Fireflies. That's Wilderness. Undergrowth. Vegetation could be a good one. That's Vegetation. Ooh. Here's Boggy. I don't think Boggy. And then there's two more. Might as well swatch them all. Fungi. Cordyceps. Ooh, Cordyceps. For anyone who's watching The Last of Us. Ooh. That's tricky, isn't it? I do think Galaxy Crush from this one. Maybe Wilderness, actually. Yes. I think Galaxy Crush and Wilderness. With Galaxy Crush on the outside. That's Galaxy Crush. I always get it the wrong way round. I feel like sometimes when I do these shimmers, I pick two, but then I put the wrong one on the outside. But I think this will work. I feel like this is going to end up being relatively monochromatic. I don't know, actually, maybe Wilderness will change that. That's Wilderness there. See, I don't know, they look different on the lid. I thought Wilderness would be a bit more gold, but I don't know if you can see that. See, now I feel like I want a bit more depth around that shimmer. So I'm going to pick up my Refer 13 and go back into Fern. Yeah, see, I think that looks better. Just helps the shimmer pop out a bit more, I think. Yeah, that should really be switched. I think that would look better. I think it looks odd because I've got the lighter shade on the outside. But obviously when I started, I didn't think I'd end up mixing Lichen and Herbarium together. It's okay. Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, isn't it? Okay, so what I might do is I'll leave the underside for the time being so I can put some concealer on and the product will have something to stick to. And we'll do the other side. We'll start doing the other side. I feel like I can go darker on this side. What's that rust colour called? Unapologetic, if I'm reading this correctly, which is quite a satiny shade. So I wonder if I could get away with that in the creasy area. Refer number 1 into Unapologetic. And I have done a full look, done it a few times now, a full look where I've just used the Lightwork 6. And it has worked. And then I think Bark. It's going to be really dark though. Okay, yeah, okay. Interesting. This could turn out very interesting. I don't know if I do something slightly halo-y. I mean, I've said that I haven't left a gap in the middle, but that's fine. I have no idea what other shades I'm going to use for this. It could end up being a little fiery. Fungi and what was that one? Higher. I think higher on the corners. Right, let's do higher. Flat brush. I think that finger here. Or a silicone applicator. Let's try a finger first. I need to tidy this up. Gosh, the level of concentration, good lord. Interesting, interesting. Let me do my face. I'm always a bit dubious. I always think it just never looks right until your face is almost done. So let's go and do that. Get the swatches that I've done off me, and then I'll come back to finish off. Okay. I've done quite a bit of my face off camera. I think left I've got to do my under eye and some mascara. I'm not doing any liner today because I've run out of liner. Even though I could tell it was on its last legs, I kept thinking to myself, you need another eyeliner, but I kept forgetting to buy some. But I have just bought 2, which should arrive tomorrow. On this side, it's going to be... Is fern going to be deep enough? Maybe like a mixture of nettle and fern, I think. So over 230. Let's go with nettle first, and then I'll smudge it out with fern. And then Refa 13, dip that into fern. Smudge that out. Annoyingly, I have just wiped all of the swatches off. Is vegetation light enough? Well, let's find out. As an inner corner. Yeah, just about. On the other side, well, it's going to have to be bark and unapologetic, isn't it? 230 again, just wiping off the pigment that's there. And I wonder if I actually do unapologetic first and then go closer with bark. Maybe my refer number 3 for this, so I can get quite close. Let's see if I can do this without poking myself in the eye. Yeah, like that. Using that same Zoeva detailer brush that I just used for my inner corner on that eye, I am going to go into... I'm going to guess this is going to work. I'm not even going to try it. I think it's going to be proud. Okay. Maybe I do have an eyeliner, but when I tried to use it yesterday, I sucked and I made a mess of it. But should we try? Because I feel like maybe I'll tight line. I won't do an actual wing, but I'll tight line. Let's see. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? But yeah, I'm not doing a wing because I don't want to mess everything up. Still managed to butcher it a little bit, but not as much as I would have done if I'd have attempted an actual wing. Pat McGrath Dark Star Mascara. Okay. So first of all, I'll zoom you right in. So that's... I think that would look better with a wing, but I just don't want to ruin the entire look by attempting it because I'm just not comfortable using this random liner that I've got. So that's the Undergrowth and Pastel Dream side, and the Undergrowth and Lightwork VI side. And it's amazing, just that one, I mean, bark, it looks black in the pan, but it's like a really, really, really dark green, really dark. But there it just looks like it's a black. And it has come together. I always think that, it always looks a bit out there until you kind of start to finish everything else off. And yes, I should have inverted those colours and I think that would look infinitely better. But we live and learn. So there we have it. That's both looks finished. Would I say I've gone ham with the blush? Quite possibly, yeah. I've used Burning Up from Trigwell Cosmetics today, and that's what Burning Up looks like. So it's a orangey red. So I thought that would go quite nicely with both sides, especially this one. And I've also used... which one's this now? Second to last. Serenity as a highlighter. Because a while back I did say that I would come back and show you what it was like to use some of these as on the face. And yeah, so that's this one here that I've used as a highlighter. And at first when I put it on, you've got to be really careful because it's almost more pigmented than a highlighter, which you could imagine because it's meant to go on your eyes. So if you do it, go in quite delicately, but I think it's quite a nice highlight. Yeah, and on my lips is a random combination, NYX brown liner and then a tiny bit of Whirl, and then I've gone over it with this Made by Mitchell On the Faux lip gloss. There we have it. It's not bad. It's kind, I mean, that's quite light and airy as you would expect because, you know, Pastel Dream. And that's very fiery. Yeah, honestly wouldn't have anticipated getting this kind of look. Do you have a favourite side? You know the drill, guys. When I do one look on each eye, I like to get your view on which one you like more. These are very different though, very different. I think that's more in keeping with the season. Like I think I would do that again during the summer. And this is something I might sort of revisit for winter / Christmas. It's very sultry, this look. But yeah, let me know what you think. We're almost halfway through the year. I think I will keep going, or maybe I'll at least do 6 episodes and then I'll see how I feel, because I'm also debating whether or not to just turn it into a series of reels instead. I don't know, I'll have a think. But let me know what you think. Do you want me to keep going? And if you do want me to keep going, throw some ideas for palettes you would like to see me pair with it. Maybe next month, because I haven't done this yet, but maybe I'll just do a palette bingo. This is assuming I've got the time to, because June is bonkers. I'm yo-yoing all across the United Kingdom. June's going to be fun. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I also hope to see you again in a video in the not too distant future. Take care. Bye!